living in a car isn't actually bad. You can make a bed in it. It locks. It has climate control. It's mobile. All other required services can be exported to basic memberships in the area. Mail can go to a P.O. box. You can use a cooler as a small fridge. And you don't shell out $1,000 or more a month to slumlords who couldn't care less if you died tomorrow. Definitely not a good way to live. Been there. 10/10 would not recommend. It's not so easy in summer. Homelessness even in a car isn't as easy as it seems. What you really need to live that way is a motorhome. It really is the bare minimum way to live a mobile life. The ability to store plenty of water, sewage and power is the bare minimum of comfort. I know firsthand. Lived in a truck for a year. Sucked. Live in RV now. Can't a guy drink a few beers in his own home? Sir, this is a Wendy's parking lot. Okay, tell me that again after you try shitting in a Walmart plastic bag at 3 a.m. hunched over in a Chrysler Pacifica. I like shitting in a toilet personally. If you showed this to somebody living in 1980, they would think we lost the Cold War. If you showed it to somebody living in 1942, they would think we lost World War II. Definitely unpopular. Good job. Bet a man posted this. Living in a car for a woman is very too extremely risky. It's amazing how nice something can be when you have the choice about whether you use it or not. If it's your choice, sure, maybe okay, but we shouldn't normalize it. Guessing the OP doesn't live in one. It's a small bed. Windows break so lol at those locks. You need to keep the car running for climate control, which will cost you gas and or the electric in your car will get dried out. Memberships mean more money and lack of privacy because you'd be depending on those facilities to always be available at your convenience, and they're not. You need an address for a job. And not everyone lives under a slumlord. Try again. I know someone who lived in his car for a decade and has no plan on leaving. You could be mates. Whenever my wife and I hit a rough patch, I'm ready to go live in my truck. Fortunately for me, I would have a safe place to park. My job also has a gym and showers and is 24 hours. I actually work night shift. My parking pass on my truck means they won't fuck with me no matter what. Without this, I think living in a car would suck. Trying to find safe places to sleep, shit, etc. You can't just leave your car running all day and night though. In Canada, you'd probably freeze to death, and in the summer you'd overheat. I've done it. It isn't actually good either. Not feasible over the long term. Are you homeless or living in a car? Have you been homeless yourself? Just curious. This doesn't sound like it was written by someone who either is or has had to live in a car for an extended period of time. Ignoring the safety element. OP isn't wrong if it's done well. The tricky part is finding a place to park where you can actually rest without breaking the law. Just a regular sedan would be very cramped, and also windows on every side might make you feel exposed to the outside. Maybe a van could be a bit more livable. It's longer, some more room to stretch out, lay down. The back doesn't have windows, some more privacy. Could never do it long term because of no private toilet, no kitchen, etc. But I could probably live in a van contently for a few weeks with the right setup. It has climate control. You plan on running the engine the entire time you're in there? Have you lived in a car before? Tried it for a few weeks in high school. Not fun. Are you speaking from experience? Our truck campers agrees with this. Have you lived in a car? I'd only recommend if you live in a super expensive city. But if you can live in a car, You're better off moving to somewhere cheaper to live anyways. Fun way to travel. Bad way to live. Do you live in a car? Or is this just an assumption? Thinking about it is one thing. Doing it is another. It's rough. Even with all the amenities you can fit in a car. I lived in a van 2021-2022. A lot of not so great experiences. That being said, I moved into my first apartment and I already miss my van. People are awful and I miss being able to just drive away from them. I do enjoy not using public bathrooms, though. Can't stand up. No bathroom. Nowhere to really park. Cold. Hot. Humid. Loud. Why is paying a slumlord the only option? Plenty of fine landlords. You could also buy a place of your own. Climate control. Yes. You can blow cold hot air as you run your combustion engine and burn copious amounts of fuel, polluting the surrounding area. Yeah, and what about people harassing you at night? I had some girl literally open my car door to sit in the front passenger seat one night when I was sleeping in my car. Or the cops constantly getting calls and telling you to move along. Waking up in the middle of the night having to take a shit and having no plan for that. Sure, and what about washrooms and PPL sleeping comfortably unless you are like 5'5"? WTF. For people of a third world country like me, we wouldn't even consider living in a car as being homeless. Holy shit. I wish that was being homeless around here. So are you living in your car? Or have you? 'Cause I have a friend who had to live in her car for months and she didn't find it nearly so enjoyable. Also, where do you bathe when living in your car? I did it in the early 90s. Anything was better than living with an abusive asshole spouse. Only a few weeks. I'm the better for it. No, living in a car is bad lol. Okay. So I lived in my car for about 6 months and the only saving grace was a campground close by that had showers and restrooms and also had potable water and power at the campsites. I like TV, and a real bed, and cooking in a kitchen, and shitting in a toilet. All this to say I definitely disagree. Also I have a dog. I like living in my house more though. I'm actually paying for something that is appreciating in value. Probably the dumbest thing I will read all day. I would think you would be bumming showers all the time. That would be the deal breaker besides other things like clean, private toilet time. I can't sleep in car period. I slept in my car one night. It was horrible. I woke up in the middle night cramped up in the back seat and had a panic attack. But I am 6'1" and my car is a 2003 Honda X Coupe. That being said, I've been thinking of buying a box truck and converting it into a home. You can find box trucks for under $5,000 here in Charleston. You are naive on this matter. Living in a car is hard, this is fact. Welp, you've never had to live in your car, that's completely obvious. Our late-stage capitalism. I'm guessing you've never actually lived out of a car. No space for belongings. Very little security, being parked in public all the time. Car locks will do nothing if someone wants in. No sanitary restroom, shower at your disposal. Fitting a bed in a car is very tight unless you have like a van or something. Climate control only works while running the car, which isn't possible all night every night. Which brings up, how do you run the fridge 24/7? You'll end up with a dead battery nonstop. I'm just not seeing it. Doable, yes. Nice lifestyle, no way. Living in an RV or motorhome is more reasonable than just a car. Somebody is under 35. If my old ass slept in a car, I'm not sure I could move around the next day.